The reduce function in Python takes in a function and a list as arguments, and the function is called with a lambda function like this. And a repetitive operation is performed over the pairs of the list. So as per the lambda expression, the arguments x and y denote the elements at the 0th and the first index. And the expression, as per the expression, we need to add the elements at the 0th and the first index. So as a first step, we apply the function on these two elements and an intermediate result is stored. So 2 plus 3 is 5. And in the next step, the same function is applied on the intermediate result and the element at the second index. And the intermediate result is again stored. So this time 5 plus 4 is 9 and this intermediate result is stored again. And in the third step, the function is applied on the intermediate result 9 and the element at the index number 3. And the intermediate result is stored again. And this process continues till no more elements are left in the list and the final result is returned. And remember that the function reduce stores the intermediate result and only returns the final summation value. The reduce function is not commonly used in Python, so it was removed from the built-in functions in Python, but it is still available in the function tools module. In order to use the reduce function, we have to import the function tools. This line in the cell that you see is used to import the reduce function from functools import reduce. Now coming to our example, I have defined a list L1 and using the reduce function, I want to calculate the sum of all the elements in this list. So I'm going to use a lambda function to calculate the sum of the elements, and the arguments passed to the reduce function are the lambda function and then the list1. So let's execute this. Once you execute this, you get the sum of all of these elements in the list. And another example where we want to calculate the element with the maximum value in this list2. So using the function reduce, and in the lambda function I have passed two arguments x and y. X and y denote the elements in the list. So, and in the expression we have a condition wherein x and y are compared, and if x is greater than y, the element x is returned, else the element y is returned. And this expression is used to return the maximum value in the list. So let's execute this, and here we have the output. Now let's talk about the filter function. The filter function takes in a function and a list as the arguments, and it applies this function on each of the elements in the list. And the function, this particular function, checks if the condition is true for each element in the list. Only if it is true, if the condition turns out to be true, only then the element is included in the output list. So let's see an example to understand the filter function. So here we have a filter function which includes a lambda function. The lambda function checks if each element in the list is divisible by 2 or not, if the remainder is 0 or not. And when we execute this, the code in this cell, we get an object. And if you want to create a list, then you can pass this object to the list constructor and then execute, and you have the elements which are divisible by 2. So here we have a map function that includes a lambda function and then an iterable, that is a list. So the lambda function takes the argument x, which indicates each element in the list, and the expression here checks if each element is either greater or less than 0. If it is greater than 0, then the function returns the boolean value true, else it returns false. If the value of the element is greater than 0, then it returns true, and if it is less than 0, it returns false. And this condition is checked for all the elements in the list. So let's execute this code in the Jupyter notebook.